All right, that time it works. Now it's blinking. Hello, my lovelies. That doesn't work. My apologies. I thought I would try something a little different and mix it up, and that's not the one. Hey there, Walt here from Walt in PA, and today, man, I want to talk a little bit about a group ride that I went on just the other weekend, where the ball busting, it hit a little close to home, and that's kind of when the funniest stuff happens. So let's talk about it. So just the other weekend, I decided to go on a group ride with some of the guys from the Walt in PA Discord server. It was me, Goofy's son, Trekkie Moto, Scott. Did I count that right? Me, Goofy's son, Trekkie, Scott. Yeah, 5 of us. We decided to do a little group ride on a Sunday morning. And we were going to meet in Limerick, Pennsylvania. Little town, kind of like centralized between all of us. Well, a little less central to some than others. But we decided to meet up at a gas station in Limerick. And we were going to go from there down into southern Chester County, or not southern, just Chester County, not southern Chester. Work our way down Route 401 into Lancaster County, and then kind of make our way up into Berks County, and eventually close the loop back in Limerick, where we were going to grab lunch at this place called the Flying Pig. So we all get together, and 4 of the 5 of us are motovloggers. We make some sort of motorcycle content. So there's like some weird stuff happening. Well, I'm sure if you were just some random person pumping gas, it probably looked kind of weird, but you know, to someone on the inside, it was just another group ride. You got Trekkie's over there like clapping to himself, like, you know, like trying to sync his cameras. It sounds like he's giving himself applause. He got someone else beeping their horn to sync their cameras. He got Goofy, who's just doing a flat-out vlog off the bike with a handheld camera pointed at himself. Like, it's just this, man, from the outside, I'm sure it looked super strange. But anyway, like, everyone gets situated. The bikes are running. We're about to pull out and start our group ride. And of course everyone does the usual, like, heads up, like, hey, I'm recording, you know, if there's something you don't want, you know, just give me a heads up, or like get out of the way, right? You know, ride behind me kind of a thing. Trekkie recorded the comms, which is always really cool to hear that later on. But Trekkie said he was recording, Scott said he was recording, Goofy said that he was recording, and I said, well, I didn't bring any camera gear today. I'll be a guest star if need be. And like, I thought that was going to be the end of it. We were going to pull out, and Scott hit me with it. He's like, you know, you should change your channel name from Walt in PA to Walt Incognito. You said you were coming back, everyone got all excited, and you haven't posted anything since. And that's kind of when the ball busting began. Oh, it was like he cut me deep, man. The funniest ones, you know, are the ones with a vein of truth to it. And that one, that was a good one. It stung a little bit. And I thought I deserved, you know, the channel deserved a little bit of explanation for what's going on. So that is the point of this video. If you're not interested in hearing that story, you just wanted to hear the ball busting part, you can click away and avoid probably 10-15 minutes worth of jibber jabber. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you do you, and then we'll get started from the beginning. This is where I need some kind of segue, some music or something. Just to kind of transition. So it was around Christmas time when I decided that I was going to, it was actually maybe before then, maybe around Thanksgiving. In the November, December-ish time frame, I decided I was going to give the channel and my blog, waltinpa.com, a little cheesy little advert there, I was going to give it a little jolt, try to resuscitate it a bit. And I started in on creating a butt ton of content, mainly YouTube Shorts. So I think I did either, well, not either, both. I did a YouTube Short and a TikTok video every day for like 2.5 months. Actually, when TikTok, was quote unquote banned and the service shut down for a brief period of time, that was right around the time when I was running out of content. And it was actually the little hiccup in the system that prevented me from recording another batch of shorts. So anyway, I produced all this content and I was publishing daily on these services, and my idea was to use those as a way to breathe a little life into the channel, maybe catch a few new eyes, and kind of work on long form content in between, because the shorts didn't really take a whole lot. I just batch recorded them, and they didn't take all that long. It was tedious, especially the uploading and description and tagging and all that stuff. That was tedious work, but it was not hard by any stretch, and it was not horribly time consuming. So I recorded a couple of videos. I got those it's a couple of long form videos. I got those published to the channel, and then I recorded a bunch more. Like I've probably got a few hours worth of raw unedited footage, very much like this, since then, that I just haven't had time to edit. And I know in at least one of those recordings that never made it, I explained the situation. So you have to forgive me if you already know part of this story, but I'm just going to tell it again because I don't know whether it's on the channel or not. So back in, well, and I don't want to drag this on too long, but a couple of years ago, the company that I worked for, but actually it was back around the pandemic, the company that I worked for started hitting some really hard financial times. And in order to keep the business afloat, it sold to a larger company out of state. And that larger company decided, after like 2 years, decided to close the production facility here in Pennsylvania, move it to their home state, lay off everyone on the production floor in the process, and keep a couple of us office people around to do remote work. And that lasted about a year. Things were slowing down across the board. Like the parent company was just suffering a big sales dip in all divisions. It wasn't just this company that they bought. It was another company that they bought, and then kind of like themselves. So one primary company, 3 sub companies, and all of them were kind of suffering. So massive layoffs happened. I lose my job, and I get a phone call from my who once was the previous owner of the company, who stayed on as like president of the sub company, if that makes sense. I'm not really sure what his official role was, but he calls me up. We have a pretty good relationship, and he breaks the news to me and says that he's fighting against it, but his hands are tied. There's nothing more he can do. He's going to have to lay me off. But the project that I'm working on is absolutely critical to future work from this customer, so he's trying to delay it as long as possible, make sure that I take some extra time and care to make sure that everything is buttoned up, and try to make the transition from my hands to whoever's left in the parent company so that things don't implode. So, that's kind of the thing, my thing. It's not a big deal. I'll go ahead and do that. And then I was officially laid off after that. Now, during that conversation, I mentioned to him that, I'm ineligible for unemployment due to my self-employment income, and I wasn't going to be actively looking for work, but I wasn't going to wait around forever either. So if he kind of wanted me back, like he's got a window to do it, but I can't wait around forever. So he appreciated that and said he would do what he could, and I got laid off. I was out of work, and I thought that it was going to be this glorious thing. I was going to have nothing but free time on my hands. I was going to develop a daytime TV habit. I was going to get projects done around the house that had been put off for forever. It was going to be a very long, much needed vacation. And I could think I could have lasted several months before I was in a position where it was like, all right, I absolutely have to go back to work now in order to pay my bills. Like day one of being laid off, I decided, one of the things that I used to do years ago was post fun stuff on Facebook. I'm going to do that. My personal Facebook page, personal stories, family stories, that sort of stuff. And I thought, well, this will be I'm going to have time to do this again, so this ought to be fun. So I take to Facebook and I fabricate this story. Basically like a day in the life of the unemployed, day one. Wake up early, don't know what to do with myself, wind up watching Little House on the Prairie. Kids wake up, have breakfast, get them ready for school, get them on the school bus. By 9 o'clock, bored out of my mind, decide to take up day drinking. I include a stage photo of me passed out on the couch. By 11 o'clock, take an unexpected nap. 2 o'clock, wake up and swear off day drinking, and so on and so forth. It was fun. I got a laugh out of it. Some people that appreciate my humor got a laugh out of it. I had a couple of concerned people reach out to me, which clearly they don't know me terribly well, but that was the plan, to do stuff like that, have fun. I did that the first day, did that the second day. By the third day, I got a message from someone asking me, basically they said, hey, I see that you're laid off. Would you be interested in working for such and such a company? We're looking for someone like you, and we think that you would be a really good fit here. Now, at this point, I haven't even started to enjoy my time off yet, being unemployed. But I also didn't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, so to speak. So I talked with my wife, and we both came to the same conclusion. It's not going to hurt to go talk to him. I don't have to take the job. I'm not even saying I'm going to get the job, but go, we'll talk, and see what comes of it. So I say, yeah, I'm interested. Pass my information along to whoever needs it to move forward with the process. A couple hours later, I got a text from the owner of the company that wanted to set up a call. I think we had a call that very same day. Very surface level, basic, kind of get to know each other conversation. He seemed to like what I had to say. We scheduled an in-person interview. Went down for the in-person interview, which ultimately, the short of this long story is that I got the job, even though I wasn't actively looking for a job. And for it was about 3 weeks of downtime between when we had that conversation to when they were ready to onboard me, and I was amazed at how busy I was in that 3 weeks. You know, even though I didn't have a job to go to, my days were packed with all sorts of stuff, trying to keep up with what I had going on in my business, doing stuff that have been kind of piling up around the house, you know, little projects that I hadn't gotten to, just lots and lots of little stuff, and I found myself just swamped. But anyway, I wound up putting the YouTube channel and the blog and all things Walt in PA kind of on the back burner, because I was trying to get stuff buttoned up before my new job started, which was going to be different from my old job in the fact that I was 100% remote from my old job, and the new job required me to be in office for a period of time before I started transitioning away to a more remote position. So, trying to just get all that stuff taken care of meant that I had very little, if no time left for Walt in PA. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I did have time for it. I recorded a bunch of videos. I got out, I did some riding when the weather was nice. I recorded content just like this. I came up with content ideas. Like, I wanted to do, I don't know what you call it. Scott calls it a cattywomple, but I'm not sure if that's the right description for... I kind of wanted to do like a scavenger hunt kind of a thing where, you know, you had like a bib or, you know, like a grand tour. I had plans for doing that I never got finalized, and kind of kills me that didn't happen. But like, there was lots of stuff, like lots of activity on Walt in PA, just none of it made it onto YouTube, and I don't know what's going to happen with it. Like, I don't know that it's worth posting those videos. I mean, I guess I could go through at some point and edit them finally. But at this point, it's been so long, I don't even remember what they are. I don't really have to watch the footage all over again. So, there's been activity. It just hasn't borne fruit, if that makes any sense. So, that's kind of where we're at right now, where I'm still pretty busy. I'm still recording content. I'm just not editing it. What I need to find someone who likes editing content as much as I like talking on camera, and the two of us can work together, and he can do the thing he likes, I can do the thing I like, and and then like maybe things would actually get done, because YouTube, my level of YouTube does not pay well enough for a video editor. Yeah, so there's that, and I couldn't even con my daughter into it. Tried to get her to edit some of my videos, but she edited like 2 minutes of one of them, and it was like, yeah, this is not my thing, and that was that. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the long meandering story of ball busting to channel update. So, thanks for watching. Ride safe, and I will catch you in the next one. I think that's all I want to talk about. I mean, I talk a lot more, but at this point, I think the video is already too long. But you know what? I just don't give up.